You like that? Well, the Falcons certainly like that and the rest of their offseason overhaul this season. They landed arguably the top free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins, signing the 35-year-old to a 4-year, $180 million contract, including $100 million guaranteed. But before that, Atlanta made a splash in the coaching market, hiring Rams defensive coordinator and their own former interim head coach, Raheem Morris, to lead the team. And those moves should leave fans hopeful for the future as the team enters the 2024 draft with 8 total picks, including 8th overall, the same slot they've had each of the previous 2 drafts. And we are pleased to be joined now by Falcons owner Arthur Blank from the annual league meeting in Orlando. And Mr. Blank, thank you for joining us. To get you started, feel free to tip us off on what you might do with that 8th overall pick.
Feel free to?
Yeah, fire away.
I feel free to, but yeah, but I would lose my job as the owner if I did that. But we hope this is the 3rd year in a row we have the 8th pick in the draft. We certainly hope that this will be the last year we'll have the 8th pick in the draft, and hopefully down much further in the draft order in years to come.
You know, I just detailed what a busy offseason it's been for you and your team. You have the new head coach, you've got the new quarterback, and as we sit a month from that draft, how would you assess where your team is right now?
Well, I love what we've done during free agency. Obviously, I think we made it clear postseason that, you know, our quarterback play had not been what it needed to be a truly competitive team. And we think the addition of Kirk Cousins, who was an outstanding free agent and has had, you know, a great 12 years in the NFL, 6 for the Commanders and 6 for the Vikings, was playing some of his best ball, was available. And so we pursued him. And then we also wrapped up our receiver room. We were down to one guy in our receiver room, Drake London, who's a great player, but can't play the position by himself. So we've added definitely some capable talent in that area. I love the work that Terry Fontenot, our general manager, has done. Kyle Smith, Ryan Pace, and obviously our new coach Raheem Morris, who is all the things we had hoped. I mean, he was a really fine coach for us for a number of years in Atlanta before I got to know him. I think he spent 3 years in the Ram organization. I think that gave him some other perspective from relationship between a coach and general manager. Their winning habits out there are obviously infectious. I've apologized to Sean McVay, Stan Kroenke, and Les Snead for taking half their coaching staff. But it's credit to them, honestly, that they've produced their own tree, if you will, the Rams tree. We have young coaches that are coming out, and it's one of the things I think that Raheem came back with much more of a hardened understanding, the necessity of understanding when you win, you're going to lose some of your coaches. So we're staffing along those lines, and hopefully in a winning season, we'll be in a position where we'll have to worry about losing a coordinator or two. So that's a good position to be in.
And you said you were thrilled with the choice of your quarterback with Kirk Cousins. He was playing at an MVP-type level prior to the injury. And Mr. Blank, I am curious about that because he had the Achilles, and when evaluating the injury, what gave you and your staff confidence he'd be healthy and worth investing in?
Yeah, well, the injury is obviously a very serious one. It's the most serious injury he's had in his career. He's had some, other ailments here and there, but nothing really significant. But torn Achilles tendon is a serious injury. He had clean surgery. Recovery's gone well. He's exactly where he should be based on what the surgeons say and what our independent doctor evaluations say. So we feel good about the investment we've made and feel good about the player, both tangibles and intangibles. I was very impressed with him during his opening press conference. My conversations with him, he's mature, he's hardworking, he's balanced, he's thoughtful, the leader. He probably has called, I would guess, virtually every player on our roster. He's developed nice relationships with them. And I'm excited to see what he can do on the field for us.
You mentioned that opening press conference. Something from that opening press conference led to the NFL announcing that they would be conducting an investigation into that potential tampering when he indicated that he had spoken with members from the staff and the head trainer before 4 p.m. on March 13th when the new league year was set to open up. What's your perspective on that investigation?
Well, I'm very sensitive to the word tampering. Obviously, both my business background. I've been an NFL owner now for 22 years, and our president our CEO, I should say, is head of the competition committee for almost 30 years now. So we're super sensitive to that. We don't think they've done anything to engage in tampering. However, what we've done is turn over all of the information that NFL requires, and we'll wait and see what they decide. Whatever it is, we'll deal with it, we'll live with it, and go on from there. But certainly, it was not any intention, and I think whatever took place was, from my viewpoint, very innocent.
There's always news that comes out of the owners' meetings in Orlando this year in Orlando, and today NFL owners approved a revamped kickoff format. It's unique to the for those who watch the XFL, they're very familiar with it, but those who watch the NFL and aren't. So what were those conversations like with your fellow owners about this significant rule change?
Yep. I think there was conversation, obviously extensive conversation with the special teams coaches across the league. I think the league did a great job in listening and responding to what that coaching group, all of them said, current special teams coaches and ones that were connected before, head coaches, and ownership as well. And to look at it very simply, you go back 10 years, 80% of the kickoff returns in the NFL, kickoffs in the NFL were returned. This last year was down to 20%. And we had a Super Bowl where the ball was kicked off 13 times and wasn't returned once. So we've taken a very exciting play that's traditionally part of the game out of the game. And so this rule change will put it back in the game in a creative way, in my view, and create some additional excitement for our fans, which is something we always have to be super sensitive about. We're involved with soccer. They call that the beautiful game. It is a beautiful game, but we're involved in American football, and that's a beautiful game too. And one of the things is that, the league continues to focus on fans, fandom, fan avidity, all those things that we should, and understand as the game has to be tweaked to make sure always taking care of the players, health and safety wise, but also making sure we're staying focused on what is the fans are seeing and what does they want to see more of and what do they want to see less of. So there'll be more excitement in the games, less dead time, more plays that'll be filled with action.
Beautiful game, the beautiful suit. Falcons owner Arthur Blank with us on SportsCenter.
Thank you.
Mr. Blank, thank you so much. From a good suit to Tim Hasselbeck, who is back with us. Hey, Timmy, what are your expectations for Kirk Cousins?
Look, I think Kirk's going to play really well, Matt. Look, he's been a really good player. He's thrown for nearly 40,000 yards in this league. He's got over 270 touchdown passes thrown. Like, I don't know if people really understand how productive of a player Kirk Cousins has been, and he's been productive in this offense that basically was in Washington, that made its way to the Rams, and now is going to be a version of it in Atlanta with Zach Robinson as the new offensive coordinator. And so you think about Kirk Cousins in an offense that he's extremely familiar with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson. I think like the expectation should be that Kirk Cousins, even coming off that Achilles injury, is that he's thrown for well over 4,000 yards. He's thrown around 30 touchdowns, and he's not turning the football over. I mean, I think that should be the expectation in Atlanta with Kirk Cousins being there. And I think everything that Arthur Blank just talked to you about in terms of the leadership, I think they're expecting that also.
Look, he's surrounded by talent. There's no question about it. But can he get healthy and back into that MVP form we saw before he went down? That'll be the question we all watched. Tim Hasselbeck with us this afternoon. Tim, thank you.